everybody. Welcome to the DeFeet Show. DeFeet is a manufacturer of socks and apparel accessories for cycling out of North Carolina. I'm Paul Willerton.
And I'm Shane Cooper.
Shane is the founder and president of DeFeet. What we hope to do with the DeFeet Show is to bring you guys a little bit closer to the internal workings of a brand that manufactures its own products in the United States at our own factory, and all of the little things that go into that, and also maybe introduce you to some of the interests that we have in this giant world out there through our travels and our hobbies and what we like to do through cycling. So welcome to our first episode. Shane, where are we?
We are heading, we're in Switzerland, and we're coming back from the Tour de France first day, and we're heading to Eurobike. And so that's over in Germany, and so we're going through these little towns in Switzerland.
Got about a 3-hour drive tonight from Basel to Friedrichshafen. But we got a few things that we want to talk to you guys about, and the first thing is a Spider Silk sock that we introduced to the Quick Step team on the eve of the Tour de France, like Shane was saying yesterday. So Shane, what is it with the Spider Silk project? We want to talk about the what, why, and where of what we did.
Sure.
So what is it?
Well, Spider Silk started fascinating me. It got on my radar about 15 years ago. There was a company from North Carolina that got some kind of a grant awarded to do research in North Carolina on trying to harvest spider silk from spiders, and his main job was to domesticate spiders. And he actually failed, from what I was told.
So what are the natural qualities of spider silk that make it so interesting?
Spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel, and it's super feather.
So how can that be? I mean, we can punch our hand through a spider web.
Well, I mean, if you punched your hand through a small little steel, on the same scale, it would you'd go right through.
So it's strength to weight, or
yes,
strength to size,
right?
Yeah.
But that story got me fascinated, and then I started following all the different, even the U.S. military is trying to get a hold of synthesized spider silk. And so, long story short, we can go into some pretty bad details on that thing. I think we're losing my battery or something. It's starting to sink. All right, we might have to cut that out. But anyway, the story goes back to finding out that spider silks, they were even injecting spider genomes into goats. And they were, no kidding. I mean, it's almost like Homer Simpson, the spider goat story, but it's absolutely true. And what they were doing is the goat's milk would produce silk. And that was a way to genetically make or genetically modify a goat and make this spider silk.
So DeFeet got its hands on very small amounts of this spider silk yarn.
Well, we got our hands on the golden orb spider silk, which is, I started doing my research and I found that the golden orb spider silk had been used to make 3 items in world history that we know of. We have what was it, Napoleon Bonaparte's wife's gloves, a bed linen, and 2 gentlemen went over to Madagascar about 10 years ago and created, they harvested from 1 million spiders, and they made enough spider silk to create a robe, which is in the Smithsonian.
So DeFeet became the first company in the world to actually to create a sock from spider silk, which at this point is the 4th finished product ever to be made from spider silk.
That is correct, and that sock is on a trophy, and we just dropped that off with the #1 team in the world, Team Quick Step.
Yeah, and so why did we do that? Why exactly did we create that thing?
We're getting ready to go into a tunnel, so let's see if we still have any visual on us as we go. Ooh, there we go. So the question was, why did we do that? Good question. This web of secrecy just started unveiling itself as it started to go along. This whole story became more interesting as I started to unravel it. And you know, this golden orb spider silk is the same color as the Tour de France jersey, and by God, we won that today with Team Quickstep. And
so I think what DeFeet was trying to accomplish is DeFeet likes to look at the natural world and take elements from nature to create better products for you all. So what we saw with spider silk is we saw a chance to push the textile industry to eventually move off of oil-based fibers and move into producing better fibers made in a more natural way.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly right, Paul. And what we kind of stumbled into is the reason everybody wants spider silk is because it's a natural protein. So a natural protein base as opposed to oil base, you know, like a polyester is an oil base. You know, and at DeFeet, we do care about the environment, and we were one of the big proponents of the recycled projects with all the yarn companies that we deal with, and we were very vocal about using recycled water bottles. And that story, you know, took 20 years to build, and now we're looking, you know, 5-10 years down the road, and we're saying, hey, what can we get this spider silk synthesized and use that?
Yeah,
so
for me and my family, we talk about this a lot at home. It's always fascinating to consider that so much of what we learn is already around us in the natural world, and if we learn from nature, we can solve a lot of the problems that we have in our day-to-day lives.
Well, that's one thing DeFeet's going to do now, Paul. We're going to get on the soapbox, and we're going to really try and get these textile companies to start focusing in on that arena.
Well, we like to push them sometimes. We've done it a lot over the last 26, 27 years. And so what we did is we created a trophy out of this spider silk sock, and we placed it on a hand-blown crystal foot form that was made in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, made up in Asheville, North Carolina by a local artist. And I called him and said, hey, we need a trophy for the Tour de France to give to Team Quickstep. So it resembles the trophy for the Tour de France, by the way.
So Alexander Julian designed this incredible knit that we made with the spider silk into the sock. We put it on the crystal foot form, and we placed it inside a pelican case and delivered it to the Quickstep team just outside of Nantes, France, where the Tour de France started today, stage 1. And that was, I really appreciated the way that the team welcomed us for that presentation. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, getting to see the team. I mean, just the other day, the national championships were won by 4 or 3 of their riders, and we had most of those flag socks.
Four national champions.
4 national champions. Okay, that's right.
Michael Morkov won.
Michael Morkov is a distributor of DeFeet too, from Denmark.
So our own Danish distributor won the National Road Championship in Denmark. Michael Morkov of Quickstep. Who else we had? We had Yves Lambert won the Belgian National Road Championship. Who else? Bob Jungels won Luxembourg. And what was the...
Evian, the Italian, Viviani.
He's been winning all kinds of sprints.
So we brought socks. The new Evo is what they've been winning in, which is a summer weight sock, and we brought that over with us to give to them with their national colors on.
Yeah. So let's touch on the Evo a little bit. Like, we just launched a completely new from the ground up sock called the Evo. The Evo was created in 3 different silhouettes, so let's just touch on those really briefly, the 3 silhouettes of the Evo.
The 3 silhouettes, there's one called the Ventoux, and the Ventoux is made of Sapona, a very, very lightweight. These are all super light socks.
It's a highly vented sock, all around the foot.
360
beautiful
degrees.
Pattern, incredibly unique looking pattern on the sock. And the
Then
next
this
one
Classique,
is
which goes back to the 1960s and 70s.
Evo Classique has a vertical rib that does hark back to what cycling socks used to look like in the 60s and 70s, but with a more modern fit and feel and performance aspect to the sock. And the final one is the Evo Carbon.
Oh yeah, the Evo Carbon. We got a hold of some carbon fiber locally and started playing around with the carbon fiber several years ago, but it really found a home on this new Evo model because of the lightweight design.
So part of the reason we brought Quickstep into this with the Spider Silk sock with the introduction of the Evo was because we started this Evo project with Team Quickstep over 2 years ago in their quest to have a better performing warm weather sock, because it makes such a huge difference in their own performance. And so we embarked on the Evo project.
This lane merges. Yes, so that is why we did the Evo. We brought that to...
So the Evo is launching on July 15th, right?
Yep.
So that's coming right up. And if you're looking for a brand new sock with a very unique fit, look, and feel, as soon as you put it on your foot, you can feel the coolness in that product, or I can. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the slick feel is what makes that happen of that product. So yeah, and even the Spider Silk sock is on that model. That's part of the excitement. By the way, Paul, going back to the Spider Silk is $64,000 a pound. So the sock that we made on the glass foot form is about a $5,000 product. Just throwing it out there
for the one sock, or
one sock, actually, because it's on the glass foot form. But
would those be 10 grand a pair?
No. We'd sell somebody a pair of those socks for $5 grand. But we bought all the Madagascar Golden Orb Spider Silk, so there's no more in existence. So next year they'll harvest more, and we can make.
We bought out the entire supply.
We bought the supply. Yeah, we bought it all.
It's been an amazing. Everyone that we tell about that project, it blows their hair back. They're like, that is the strangest story I've ever heard in cycling.
Well, the exciting thing to me, the lessons that I've learned, a spider has 5 different types of silk that it can produce, and the spider can manipulate those on its spinnerets as it's making its web, and make them into the strongest webs possible for what they're trying to do.
So it has like 5 valves.
Yeah.
Back by that orifice where the silk is coming out.
Let's call it a spinneret, not an
spinneret.
orifice. Orifice sounds too sexy.
So it can manipulate what goes into that silk.
Yeah.
Whether it wants more elasticity
or
more
sticky
strength,
or sticky, to catch more bugs. And if you look at the Spider Silk sock, a really cool thing about it is you'll see little black lines inside the silk. And those are just different color flies that it had eaten during the day. I mean, it's just the meal. The meal
wild.
is what,
Yeah, you can actually see that in the knit of the sock.
Yeah, we'll show pictures of that after this podcast.
All right, so finally, moving into, another reason, what are we doing in Europe? So where are we headed right now? We're headed to the Eurobike show, where we're going to meet with all of our international distributors, which is a huge part of what we do, is getting the DeFeet brand out among the rest of the world and organizing those sales forces in different countries to help share DeFeet with people all around the world. That's a huge part of what we're doing on this trip.
I think we're in 37 countries now, Paul, and the international community have really welcomed us ever since we started the business back in 92, 93. And I think it's because our product was so far advanced, and carried such a good value across the board.
Yeah, and so I always enjoy meeting with all of them every single year. And after the show this year, though, we have another little special little side trip that we're doing. Why are you focusing that just on me?
I can't get it back. Something's going.
and we're doing a little reconnaissance mission through Austria and into Italy, where we're gonna go visit a bunch more other small companies and just see if there's any symbiosis between DeFeet and those companies.
Symbiosis, hold on, I gotta look that one up. He's always pulling these words out of thin air. Symbiosis. I like it, it sounds good.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, yeah, this trip up to Friedrichshafen is gonna be really fun. We're gonna...
Let's tell them about what we had a horrible meal last night in Nantes. It was probably the worst meal we couldn't even finish it.
I swear to
God,
God,
it was the worst meal I've ever had.
Yeah, mine, if I could describe it, it looked like the wart of a
oxen.
No, a wart off of a whale's.
And watching you eat yours, I couldn't. I almost had to stop eating mine. I thought it was like a rat tartare.
We don't even. It was like eating at a morgue. It was our fault. We definitely made a mistake. But today we
made up for it tonight at King Cordon Bleu in Switzerland, and the Cordon Bleu was absolutely fantastic. Salads. It was a wonderful Swiss experience.
I believe it was Picasso who said, "When you travel the earth, you must lick it," and by God, we lick it.
Yeah, we do. Even when we shouldn't be. Like last night, I didn't need to lick that.
All right, should we sign off on this thing so we can make sure our directions are right?
Before we sign off, we just wanted to let you know that we hope to bring this DeFeet show to you every month, if not every couple weeks. So stay up to speed with DeFeet. You'll learn some things. We promise you we're going to bring you some interesting content that you won't get anywhere else. So don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the podcast if you want to be notified when there's new ones coming out. And thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, let's get out there and like DeFeet. Do a little plug there and hashtag
We're going to be
iDeFeet.
bringing our viewers some more value from DeFeet. So it will. There'll be some goodies for everyone involved.
That sounds like fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, you guys, ride hard, and we'll see you on the road. Peace out.